Okay, I gotta flip around. Hello, everybody. Hedy will start in a moment.
Just say when.
You're on.
Beautiful.
Good. All right, I love you.
I love you too. Should we try the mic once more or not?
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's try it.
Why
Okay.
not? I mean, if it's not...
Okay, give me a second.
Do I clip it on me?
No, you do nothing, girl.
I do nothing.
Okay, Grandma, speak. Put that under your mask for a minute, and let's see if Eileen thinks it's better.
Okay. Are we testing?
Grandma, Hedy is saying testing.
No.
Okay.
All right, so just go with the camera mic. That's fine.
Okay, Grandma, you are good, and it's time
I'm
to...
testing.
You are testing, but we're good. We're good. You can give that to me.
Is my voice okay?
Eileen, her voice is loud enough?
Yep, it's great. Perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to hang
Give
up
me
with
back
you.
the thing.
Okay,
No?
sweetie?
Okay, just scoot your camera a little bit more to the left, Ken. All right?
Yes.
And you can hear me?
Okay. Yes, love you.
Okay,
You're good
love
to
you.
go.
Good.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Grandma, I'm going to step out, and you are on.
Okay. Say when. Lift your finger. Okay. Welcome, everybody. You have no idea what it's been like here. We've been working for 1 hour with the most wonderful assistant who is hundreds of miles away, Eileen, who is a brilliant photographer
Take your mask.
and an expert at documentaries, and I can't begin to tell you what this is like. First of all, everything that I planned on for today is out. I promise you, you'll get it another time. But just so much happened today that the things that I had planned aren't good anymore. Okay, let me begin. And I think it really happened for an important reason. At the beginning of the week, I was very disturbed. And I didn't know how to think, because suddenly my country, which I love so much,
Take your mask off. Take it away. Just
was so changed and reminded me so much of when I was 8 years old and not allowed to go into the street because people were killing people. And I began to think and to write about that what got to me was the people who riot are people who have never been listened to. And my friend Tammy Smith, with whom I keep up a steady correspondence because we have so much to learn from each other, she said what they need to teach in schools here is critical thinking, that we are not taught how to look at something, evaluate it, and then figure out what needs to be changed to get what we need. When a child has a tantrum, we try to stop it, but do we ask it why? Do we wait until it stops screaming and then say, tell me what you need? No, you can't have this, but you could have something else. What would you want instead? How would you get what you need? That's critical thinking. Many years ago, I contacted the Red Cross and I said, I would like to teach children who have nothing how to draw, because drawing gave me a voice and gave me friends when I couldn't speak English or Spanish. I could draw a picture. And at the Red Cross they said, no, we don't have anything like that. We don't teach children. But for the first time ever, there is an opening for a class in the Nassau County Jail. And if you want to teach art, it's only for women in the women's section. That was one of the most powerful experiences of my life. Because in those days, white women were not imprisoned. Black or Latina women were. Usually the very poor ones who had never heard of art classes. It was then that I learned that everybody has something inside that needs to be said. I'll talk about that another time, about these classes. But it led afterwards to stopping that, because suddenly, instead of poor women, I was getting young addicts who had also never spoken, had never said what they needed and what they could have instead. I began to teach in the prison system, and this is what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to say what I learned and how to get people to speak of what they needed instead of doing damage when nobody listened. And that's what I was going to do today, but I won't, because too much else has happened. And I promised, because I really want to do that, I promised to do that perhaps next Monday, if the world has quieted down a little. Okay? Let me see what of the things that I wrote about, that I wanted to speak about, I can still speak of. But there is something absolutely wonderful, and that I found in my local newspaper, which is the Long Beach Herald, and it was written by Jim Bernstein, who is the editor of the Long Beach Herald. And I'm going to read exactly what he said. Perhaps most important, people who have not spoken to one another during most of Trump's presidency could find ways to get together, even in small groups. They might begin by talking about their kids, the Buffalo Bills, or the baseball season that's just around the corner. They might just find out how much they have in common, as opposed to what has divided them. Once people see one another as human beings, and not as caricatures out of a comic book, it becomes harder to scream oaths and obscenities across the room. And that was written by Jim Bernstein, who is the editor of the Long Beach Herald. I would like to have Kenny come back in, because I want to show you some of the drawings. I began to do drawings of people with masks. Let me put my mask back on again, because he's coming into the room. And masks mean if I carry an infection, I can't give it to him. And if he has an infection, he can't give it to me. The first one is, I began it of my son and had to stop. There are 3 which I cannot finish until perhaps next week. That's Kenny. But I want to give him a body, and I've probably put him with the phone in his hand, because that's what he was doing today. Okay? Then there is a wonderful beginning, but she couldn't come today because she had meetings, and she is going, her name is Donna, and she is going to come and pose again so that I can finish it. Here she is. And these are friends of my family, whom Kenny and Joni and Eric considered extended parts of our family, as Eileen is and her family. Okay? Next time, perhaps you'll see the three finished. Perhaps you won't. But I would like to explain to all of you the joy of pencil. Okay? I'm watching Kenny struggling with cameras and machines and telephones, all of which don't listen. Let me tell you about a pencil. If you hold a pencil and you have paper, it's just between you and it. It's yours. There is such freedom in a pencil and a sheet of paper. Believe me, there is a joy. Someday, what I would like to do is to begin a drawing on my broadcast and explain as I do it. Because, you see, when my grandchildren, Dietz and Mike, gave me advice and said, the first thing you can do to help is give things away. If you can convince people to give things away, because so many have no jobs anymore. So many have no food on the table. But what happened was, as I began to prepare things to give away, there was a loosening in me, and thoughts were able to come in. We own too much. We have too much. We have drawers full of extra socks. We have things which we don't need, but people around us right now are desperate for them. And so what I'd like to do is this, to explain that my brain cleared during that time as I got rid of things. There was room for other things to come in. I don't know how to explain the fact that if you own too much, let me tell you this. When we had our business, we had the art gallery, and Kenny had left the room so I could take the mask off. There was a woman who explained something. She said, you know, people consider me wealthy because I own 3 homes. It was for somebody for whom I had made a painting. And she said, do you know how much effort it takes to have 3 homes? I don't have free time. I have to worry about this. I have to think about this. Do I have to fix the roof? Do I have to put things into the refrigerator? Think a minute. Begin to share with what you have. Let me see how much time I have. I am rich in time. Then I can go back to what I had wanted to say and thought I wouldn't have time. But first, let me also show you the painting that I want to speak about. Kenny, how do we go about this? I have it on my computer.
It's on the wall. It's on your page.
Oh, it's on the wall. Okay.
But I'm going to get it anyway.
Okay. Then let me tell you about it. It was one of the paintings where not much happened on the street. itself. In some streets, everybody comes and talks to you, and they have to be the kind of people that want to tell you things. Laufer's opened in 1925 and became what could be called a landmark. Served about 4 generations, begun by Sidney Laufer with one assistant. Over the years it grew. Now it has 10 people working at this location. There are 5 other offices. Right? What I want to do, you can read it on the wall, but what I want more than anything is through my pictures for you to begin to hear voices. You know, I was reading an article in the New Yorker today about they found a little spot traveling on their huge telescopes or whatever they are. And it did not look as if it was made by the universe. It looked as if it were made by beings, living beings. And I began to think that all we own is the earth. We don't know the rest. We have no idea if there are other living beings. And yet, this is my world, and it's being destroyed, and it's being destroyed by us. But it's all I've got, and I don't want to lose it. But if I do not take care of other people, maybe they'll destroy each other the way they did in the capital. If I could get help from you, all of you, to teach people how to speak to each other instead of hurting each other. I wrote about that because all we have is this earth, and it is so beautiful. Nature did enough. It created an enemy for every living being, but it also created an antidote, and we are the antidote. How can I get it through to you? Not with the painting. When I began, we didn't have riots. I really believed that in having you listen to people, this painting would become obsolete. Instead, if you could begin to love what you own, this earth, then maybe we could continue. You know, right now, the new administration was speaking of doing something about the destruction of the earth, the global warming, which has burned so many acres of trees and homes because of global warming. If you wonder why I'm taking this offer on, as Kenny walks in, I put the mask on, because if I have an infection, I don't want him to get it. And if he has one, he doesn't want me to get it. Okay? And what I would like to do, because it is doable, it is doable to respect each other. For me, if a policeman is hurt, I hurt. If you remember what I spoke about last week, when I told you what Fran said, that she feels that there are invisible chains touching everybody, and that she can feel their pain because she hurts. I hurt when I see the riots. I hurt when I see brutality. And I feel that I can help fix it with my paintings. Because maybe if you see the people that are in them, you would recognize that they can be you. Are there any comments which anybody would like to make? Then let me put this on while Kenny comes back in. I would love comments. Oh, but before that, please, all of you in Facebook who send me messages, I cannot answer. I cannot answer Messenger. I've said it over and over, but every day I get more messages which ask for questions to be answered. I can't. Okay, here we go. Any comments?
Okay, lots of comments.
Good.
And we have to show that amazing photograph of you, too.
I have it here.
Yeah.
But that's a story by itself.
Yes. So I'll just read comments. So, Rona Rosenberg-Freiser is watching. Hernan Posa is watching. Oh boy, Kent Almqvist from Sweden is actually watching.
Oh, I'm so happy. I want to speak
I'll
about
get
it.
that. I'll
Can
get
you
that. I'll
find
put
it?
up. But tell them it's on the wall. Tell them all about it.
Okay. It's on the wall. This amazing picture which Eileen sent me from a friend of hers named Hedy, who found this. I am so overjoyed. This young man, Eileen wrote the letter. In the letter she wrote when he said, "May I read it?"
Oh, but let me just show the
Yes,
picture.
show the picture. I am so filled with happiness at this.
He's watching from Sweden.
I'm so happy. Someday we will meet, okay? I am going to send you the photograph of the finished piece, okay? Could you email me, or maybe Eileen, maybe through Eileen, I could send the finished piece. You see, I'm not good with machines, and I had sent Eileen some time ago a picture of a painting I did of the stock exchange, and I can't get rid of it. And I want to show you the picture, which is my 40. May I read this? Let me read what this wonderful young man wrote. I was 24 years old and traveling with my girlfriend, now wife. We were in the U.S. for 7 weeks and visited Washington, L.A., San Francisco, Salt Lake City, and New York. New York was our first stop, and after that we went down to Washington, D.C., and then back to New York City. We spent a total of 7 days in New York City, and then flew to San Francisco. Since it was our first visit in New York, we visited a lot of tourist attractions and explored the city by walking. I took the photo of Hedy because of the beautiful painting she was working on. He always wondered who she was and whatever happened to her. Let me know if you need anything else. Here is the photo again. I would love to communicate with you. I would love to show you a list of the paintings I have done. I would, because my grandchild is doing a website and it's nearly finished, and I can email it to you. But you see, I have, let me get, the painting number 44 is the one that you saw there. But you see, I keep getting the stock exchange. Can you look?
Oh, you want me to pull it up? But I showed it. I just showed it.
No, that's a stock exchange.
No, I showed the right one.
You found it? Number 44? Thank
It's
goodness.
on your wall. That's why. It's on your page.
It's on my page.
I'll find it again.
Look, I'll show you. Well,
No, I can find it. Don't worry.
it's painting number 44.
Yes.
But it doesn't show up on my screen.
I will find it for you. Should I keep reading?
Yes, keep reading.
Okay. Oh, the Plaza Hotel. Right. Yeah.
Number 44. But when I sent it to Eileen, it kept being the stock exchange. I couldn't get rid of the stock exchange.
That's the finished painting.
This is so exciting. People, do you realize this young couple saw me, may have spoken to me, and years later, through my friend Eileen and Hedy, such a gift for me, thank you. I looked at it and I thought, gee, I had hair at that time. And I was slimmer at that time. And I had so much strength. I was able to sit for hours after driving to New York. But instead of strength, I have a family helping me to do this, which I never could have done and still couldn't.
Should I read you more things from here? Should I read you more?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have time?
Of course. You have time still. You have 5 minutes. So Greg Romer says, I think we should all just start with just thinking. And Deirdre is watching. And Rona and Johanna say hi. And Deirdre says, amazing details. Wow. And Eileen says, amazing drawings. Some folks may be watching the impeachment delivery, which is happening right now, too. And Lauren Roth is watching. And Laura Silver. And Lars Peterson. And Nancy Tolan. And Eileen is saying hi to Kent. Kent, our Swedish photographer. And Kent is saying hello. And then JT, John Tercuso, is saying hello from San Diego. Love out. Kent is giving a thumbs up. So Laura says, what a gorgeous picture. Hedy, have you considered doing an updated one in the same pasture? Lots of love. And Eileen says to you, yes, we have Kent's email. He's looking forward to talking. And Kent would love to talk to you.
I would love it.
Janine is watching. Janine Schultz.
Hi, Janine.
And Eileen says, 40 years later, Kent and Hedy connect.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. And Julie, whose picture you all saw, Julie, Mark, and Charlie, says, love you, Hedy, and we love your beautiful sketches. Thank you, hugs and kisses. And Kent says, wow, when he sees your finished painting. Laura asks, exactly where were you sitting to paint the plaza?
I would love to tell you, because a miracle came. I sat down, and suddenly a guard came over, and he said, lady, you can't sit here. You can't sell things here. And I said, it's not something for sale. It's a commission. I'm doing it for somebody. I have nothing to sell. So he said, let me get the manager. And he came back with Rod, who was in many paintings, by the way. And so was Captain Henry. And they called me artist in residence. They let me use the parking a lot, which meant I didn't have to pay. And I painted quite a few paintings there. And there was one man who did maintenance who knew all the other maintenance people around the area. So when I wanted to do the top of the Plaza Hotel, he got me permission across the street in an office to work from there. The miracle of people and the kindness of people. Not when you paint, but when you paint their world. We all need to be recognized. And if I would have sat there and painted the most wonderful painting of something else, people wouldn't have gone out of the way for me. But because I was doing their neighborhood and their people, every door opened.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And you have more comments. Jean Gebhardt Pomarco says, "Hi, Mrs. Page. I'm a little late, and I wanted to be on when you talked about my family painting.
Oh, I would love it.
Hopefully, I
Jean-
haven't missed it."
Jean, where are you? Can you call me? I'm sure you have my old number.
Beautiful. And Ed Weedman, who discovered this on Facebook, says, "Hi, Hedy. When I saw the pic on the New York City page on Facebook, I knew it was you immediately. I'm so happy it brought you so much joy."
Okay, let me tell you something. I promised somebody lately that I'm going to do a painting one day and put in more people. And I'm dying to. But at the moment, I don't leave my house except to go for walks. I cannot sit on a street corner. But when this virus disappears, I am going to sit with my son. My son promised he would go with me. And I am going to paint. It's just, I can't do tiny pictures anymore. In other words, the people that I painted, the faces were the size of a fingernail. My eyes aren't that good anymore. But like in the subway painting, maybe I'll just do more canvases so I can do big people. And I would like to live very long. I'm 91 now, but I'm hoping to make it to 100. And I can't paint everybody in the world, but promise me, all of you who love art, take a pencil or any medium and don't just do things from your imagination. Do the real ones. Maybe the real person. Maybe a real flower. Begin to show what we have, because it may disappear if we don't treasure it. Treasure what you have. There's only one earth. Perhaps there are others. Perhaps they destroyed themselves. It's time for me to go. I love you all. And thank you.
And I'm just going to say that Laura asked you if you took your breaks at Rumpelmeyer's.
If I took my break?
At Rumpelmeyer's, it's a restaurant there.
No.
Okay. And Tammy Smith is watching. And Tammy Smith said, "I had to work late." And she said, "I'll go too. I'll carry your stuff."
You've got it. Well, Tammy is the one who got me on this by asking one question. What do you mean by street painting? And what are they? And where are they? Thank you, Tammy. And thank all of you for existing. I love you.